Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again, and welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I cover the week that was in pro wrestling. Now, I do apologize I didn't get this out yesterday. I had a medical appointment, don't need to go any further, so I am giving you this today. And we start with Monday Night Raw. And we start off white hot with Sami Zayn. He comes out, gets a huge ovation from the crowd. Basically says, oh, I let everybody down by not beating Roman on Elimination Chamber. But my story isn't finished with the Bloodline. He then asks Kevin Owens to come out. He does. And Sami Zayn basically says, I apologize. I just want to take the Bloodline down now like you are. So let's take the tag titles from the Usos at WrestleMania. Now Kevin Owens basically says, nah, the time for talking is over. And I'm doing this on my own. They both leave. Sami Zayn is about to go to the back. Gets decked by Baron Corbin, who then says, oh, why would someone like you, who doesn't even have a WrestleMania match... I'm the one who last beat Roman before his big run. It should be me at WrestleMania, and you cost me. Then Corbin and Sami Zayn have a little bit of a match, in which Sami Zayn wins with a haluva kick, which, honestly, that was the best one he ever threw. I do think we're going to get the Sami Zayn and Owens versus the Usos at WrestleMania. And I'm glad they're taking their time with this story. I think the Bloodline story right now is the best in wrestling. No offense to any other wrestling promotion. But this is really hitting all my buttons, and I'm loving it. So we'll see what happens going forward. Next up, we have a backstage interview with Austin Theory, who, after Elimination Chamber, issued an open challenge for the U.S. title for Raw, which was answered by Edge. That'll be our main event. Theory pretty much says, oh, he's ready for all comers, and still planting seeds for John Cena, who's coming back next Monday for Raw in Boston. So we're probably going to see Theory versus Cena at WrestleMania. So that should be a fun one. Next up, we have a match between Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler, who were a tag team for a little bit, but now they are kind of feuding. Ali has been in backstage segments arguing with Ziggler over Ziggler getting opportunity after opportunity. Then Ziggler pretty much says, oh, bring it to me in the ring. Let's settle this. They had a surprisingly quick bout in which Ali won with the roll-up. Which, I hope Ali does get a push at some point. We'll see. Next up is a planned Cody Rhodes promo, which is immediately interrupted by Paul Heyman up on the big screen, basically saying Elimination Chamber was supposed to be a celebration for the Bloodline. Instead, there are more questions than answers. And then pretty much says, Cody, are you ready to take on the responsibilities of being WWE Champion? Because it comes with a lot of travel, leaving your wife and kids at home. And that really doesn't seem fair to them, in which, Heyman bringing up Cody's wife and kids again. I wonder if we're going to see Brandy Rhodes at some point. I think we probably are, but we'll see. Yeah. And Cody pretty much states, I'm ready to finish my story at WrestleMania. Honestly, Cody, we all are. We're ready for you to win the world title. Backstage interview with Seth Rollins pretty much says, oh, I'm ready for Logan Paul. Pretty much setting up their match at WrestleMania. although that's not official. But he is not overlooking Paul's buddy and trainer, The Miz, he's facing in a little bit. This match basically happens. It is a oddly competitive match, although Seth does take over a little bit early. Miz does try to fight back, including a skull-crushing finale. Seth then hits the pedigree, which I haven't seen him hit in a long time. And then a big old stomp for the win. Yeah, we're probably getting Seth versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. As much as I don't like Logan Paul as a person, as a wrestler, he's fantastic. So that match might steal the whole week of WrestleMania. We get a Ding Dong Hello segment, which is an interview segment with Bayley. She's done that ever since she's gone heel. And she is interviewing Damage Control, her running buddies, and the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Pretty much say, oh, there's no tag teams left. We've beat every Franken team out there. Out comes Becky Lynch, almost on cue. Pretty much says, it's been my dream to win the tag titles. Yeah, right, the tag titles are kind of useless. Pretty much says, I'd like to challenge for them. Then Damage Control pretty much laughs at her, saying, oh, no one wants to be your friend, no one wants to be your partner. Out comes Lita, making her big return after saving Becky Lynch in Brooklyn during the cage match with Bayley. So they're going to be a team, and next week we're going to get that match. I'm super excited for it. Next, we got a very competitive match between Chad Gable and Bronson Reed, which ended when Otis, who is on the outside, got approached by Maxine Dupri of Maximum Male Models. She gave him his business card, her business card, because Maximum Male Models are recruiting Otis, which, good for the plus size lad, I guess. And then that distracts Chad Gable long enough for Bronson Reed to hit a nasty-looking powerbomb. And then the tsunami for the win. Again, excellent bout. I do hope one day we get to see Chad Gable get more of his flowers. Dude deserves it. And now we have our main event of the evening for Raw. We have the United States title on the line as Austin Theory takes on Edge. And boy, oh boy, did this feel like a main event. Austin Theory, the up-and-comer, one of the biggest bad guys on Raw, taking on Edge, the Hall of Famer, getting ready to move past Judgment Day. And honestly, this was an impeccable bout by the both of them, which is then sullied by Finn Balor getting involved while the ref had his back turned. Big kick to Edge. Theory then hit A-Town down for the retention. As much as I do not like Theory winning this way, it does kind of make sense because I think we're getting Balor versus Edge at WrestleMania, in which, yes, please. Although I know a lot of people are kind of done with the whole Edge versus Judgment Day feud. Edge versus Balor sounds like a lot of fun. Although they do need a stipulation for that match. We'll see what happens further down the line, but for right now, I'm pretty happy. Next up, we have NWA Power, which was a pretty entertaining show nonetheless. And we are going to start out with the NWA National Title defense as Scion takes on JR Kratos. And Kratos right now, obviously we got the more technical guy versus the powerhouse. Kratos is still showing damage from his last match at Nuff Said, in which he got very much busted open. This match was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of good technical stuff. The competition was hot and fierce. Austin Idol did try to get involved at one point, but then Kratos just decked him. But then it ends in a time limit draw. So Sion retains his title, but nobody wins. I'm kind of sick of finishes like that, but if it does add to a story, I'm kind of here for it. Like, I'm willing to see where this goes, and hopefully it'll be something interesting, like maybe Kratos holding a title for once. Alright, next up we have Matt Cardona versus Odinson. A real interesting bout that, Odinson definitely tried to use his power for a lot. Cardona, maybe not a technical wizard, but he's fantastic in the ring. Like, Cardona, I don't think has had a bad match since leaving WWE. Couple of times went for the reboot. Odinson rolls out of the way. Odinson with an amazing looking pounce to Cardona, which, that popped me. Cardona then grabs the canister of hype up juice. I don't even know what to call it. That Odinson brings down the ring. Hits him with it when the ref had his back turned. And, pin the win. I'm a little okay with this finish because it coincides with Cardona's actions from his non-WWE career as a heel. So I'm definitely okay with it. And finally, our main event of the evening. We have the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on the line, as Pretty Empowered take on the Renegade Twins. Renegades have been reigning since Nuff Said, so short reign. This match was very, very good. I believe it was Charlotte of the Renegades who was trying to fight from underneath, finally gets the tag into her sister, who then does get a little bit bodied by Pretty Empowered. They hit the beautiful tag team finisher for the win. Pretty Empowered regain their tag titles. But hold up, wait a minute. Out comes Missa Kate and Maddie Rankowski, who were part of the championship series, and now they are cashing in their shot at whatever title they want. They're going for the tag straps. And in a very, very quick fashion, Missa Kate, Maddie Rankowski, your new NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. I'm okay with a little bit of hot potatoing. It makes the division feel a bit more lively. Hopefully, Kate and Rankowski get a little bit of a longer reign than the Renegades. Up next, we have MLW Underground, which is going to be on Reels on Tuesdays. And we start off with a pretty decent bout between Sam Adonis and Calvin Tankman. The big guy versus little guy dynamic really works with this match. Adonis then gets help from Cesar Doran, who is ringside, for a roll-up win on one half of the tag champs. As much as I don't like that, I am glad they are pushing Adonis, because I think Adonis deserves it. Post-match, Adonis has a mic. I'm ready for a championship shot. Where's the national champion been? Out comes Davey Richards, the national champion. Adonis then bows out of the ring, but the Cesar Duran's masked henchmen get in, start beating down Tank Richards, which then brings out the MLW debut of John Hennigan, formerly known as John Morrison. Now, he has a chair. It looks like he's going to help Davey. Turns out, no, here for himself. Boom. Chair shot to the gut. Then everyone comes in. Big old beat down on Davey Richards. It is then set up for later, for next week. That'll be Davey Richards versus John Hennigan for the national championship. And honestly, I am ready to watch that. That sounds like an amazing bout. Next up, we have the Billington Bulldogs. That is the Dynamite Kid's sons take on the FBI, which is Lil Guido and I forget the other guy's name. In a relatively kind of nothing bout, but it was some good action, but it was mostly filler, so the Bulldogs can get a win. And our main event of Underground. Ooh, boy. We have Alexander Hammerstone defending his world title against Yamamoto of Dragon Gate. This was definitely a powerhouse hoss fight, which I absolutely loved. A lot of big blows to one another. Match came to a bit of a quick end from the Nightmare Pendulum from Hammerstone, which got Hammer the victory. Very entertaining match, very big hoss fight. We then get the setup for Jacob Fatu versus Hammerstone coming soon, which I'm definitely ready for that rematch. And now we have AEW Dynamite, which is on Wednesdays on TBS. And we start out with a very interesting, weirdly personal All-Atlantic title match as Orange Cassidy takes on Wheeler Yuta, former members of the Best Friends. Wheeler Yuta has now joined the Blackpool Combat Club. At points, we do see Orange try to reconcile with Yuta after Yuta pretty much got a bunch of abuse from Best Friends back in the day. Definitely a fun match. Cassidy tries to use Yuta's finisher to finish him off. Yuta gets out. This was definitely a big star-making match for Wheeler Yuta. Ultimately, big orange punch from Cassidy, including a beach break for Cassidy to pick up the win. Now, post-match, Orange Cassidy reaches his arms out for a hug from Yuta. Yuta then bows out of the ring and has a talk with Claudio Castagnoli. So, yeah, that was a very fun match. I do hope we get to see more from Cassidy and Yuta in the future, because it's an interesting story, I thought. Then we get an in-ring promo from Ricky Starks, who's ready to move on from Jericho and the JAS. Has an open contract for Revolution for anyone else to sign. Out comes Chris Jericho, pretty much says, "Oh boy, you beat me once, you got lucky, relish in it, hang it on your wall. But you're not getting me again because you're not beating me again." Out comes Peter Avalon, who looks like he's ready to sign that contract. He then gets decked by Jericho, who then gets in the ring, pretty much says, "Yeah, I'll sign it. I'll sign the contract. I'll face you at Revolution because you're not beating me again. But I don't have a pen." Ricky Starks then pulls out the pen, and then Jericho signs it. So we are getting Ricky Starks versus Jericho at Revolution with no JAS at ringside. So that hopefully this will be the end to this story. It feels like it's been going on forever, but yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one. Up next, we have another in-ring interview with Danielson, who starts talking about his match with MJF at Revolution. MJF then comes out, pretty much says, "Oh, everyone doesn't know the truth about you. You'd rather hog the spotlight and the glory for yourself than take care of your wife and kids who are at home. Ever since you came back from your injury," which he had multiple concussions. Then MJF gets in the ring, starts talking directly to Danielson's family, pretty much promising he's gonna make Danielson stay home permanently. That has Danielson snap, and they just have a big pull-apart brawl, which was honestly kind of beautiful. Next up, in backstage segment, we have Jamie Hayter pretty much call out Ruby Soho and Saraya for a match at Revolution for the women's title. That should be a fun one. I'm pretty cool with three-ways. Giddy. Next up, we have a Revolution Rumble match, which the winners get added to a four-way tag title match at Revolution. This was very hard to keep track of, but ultimate winners were Jarrett and Lethal. They do have a storyline going on with the Acclaimed, but I did not need to see them get another title shot. And finally, our main event of the evening. We have Jon Moxley taking on Evil Uno of the Dark Order. Uno really stepped up last week in an interview battle against Moxley, and that set up this match, which was absolutely excellent. About halfway through, Moxley busts Uno open. Uno then gets some decent shots of his own, which they made Uno look like $1 million. I wish Dark Order was taken a bit more seriously. So, we'll see what happens with that. Moxley even did some of his best moves, including a bunch of paradigm shifts, a pile driver at one point. But then Moxley puts Evil Uno away with the Bulldog choke submission, which that move is brutal. Like, it's honestly insane. Post-match, Mox doesn't let go of the submission. This brings out Silver and Reynolds to get Moxley to stop. This then brings out the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club, at least Yuta and Castagnoli. And then finally, out comes Paige, goes right for Mox. And they have a fight to end the show. That was a very, very fun episode of Dynamite, I thought. There were some things I could see maybe using a little tweak, but ultimately I had fun with it. And finally, big show, Impact Wrestling. Now, this show starts off with a tag team match playa as the Motor City Machine Guns take on Mike Bailey and Jonathan Gresham. Gresham and Bailey will be opponents at No Surrender, while the Guns take on Bullet Club. And boy oh boy, was this an excellent bout. Both guys had great chemistry together. It was such a good bout. I'm gonna say it's a must-watch show. Match for me. The Machine Guns had Skull and Bones to get the victory. Next up, we have No Surrender opponents. We have Taya Valkyrie, one half of the tag champions, take on Allison Kay, the challengers. And this was about as big of a hoss fight as you can get for the women's division. A lot of big power moves. finish comes with Marty Bell, who is ringside for Allison Kay, distracts the rest of the Death Dolls and a bit of the ref too, which leads to an AK-47 from Allison Kay and the win. Like I said, fantastic hoss fight battle that I'm looking forward to seeing more of soon. And finally, we have our main event of the week. I'll explain in a minute. As we have the X Division title on the line as Trey Miguel defends against Crazy Steve in Monsters Ball. Now, what is Monsters Ball? Monsters Ball, basically normal hardcore rules match. No DQ, no rope break. However, there's the added danger of 24 hours before the bout, both participants are put in a dark, isolated room. No food, no water, no light. So that adds to the danger of this match. And boy, oh boy, did these two throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at one another. This was a masterful bout, including a couple of bouts with thumbtacks. Crazy Steve brought out Janice, Abyss's old weapon, at one point. Man, this was good. Trey Miguel then hits his big old frog splash finish for the win to retain his title. Now, as you probably saw, this was my main event for this week, as I did not watch SmackDown or Rampage, as I went to see the new Ant-Man film. So a review for that will be coming to the channel shortly. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch those shows. Next week should be a bit back to normal, including a brand new addition to the weekly series, as it's the grand return of Ring of Honor. That's right, Ring of Honor will now be exclusively on Honor Club, and it will be on Thursdays at 7. So I will be getting that into my rotation for the weekly stuff. So that's coming out this week. Also this week, I will be giving my prediction, my recap for No Surrender. That'll be coming probably tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'm giving my predictions for Revolution, which is coming Sunday, which I am super hyped for. Hope you guys stay tuned. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite thing from this week of wrestling. Let me know what you're excited for in the coming weeks. And of course, happy wrestling, everybody.